There are very few video game franchises that actually manage to define an entire genre. But when we're talking about Batman, Arkham Asylum series did exactly that. Like when Batman Arkham Asylum launched in 2009, it didn't just deliver a great superhero game, it rewrote the blueprint for how superhero games should be designed. Tight combats, stealth mechanics that made you feel like a predator in the shadows. A version of Gotham City that felt dark, dangerous, and alive. And over the years, Rocksteady Studios continued to refine that formula through Arkham City and Arkham Knight, creating what many players still consider the definitive Batman gaming experience. However, after the Arkham trilogy concluded, the future of Batman games became uncertain, where Rocksteady shifted toward other projects, including the ambitious but controversial Suicide Squad, chill Justice League game. Meanwhile, fans continued to wonder if the studio that perfected the Dark Knight formula would ever return to Gotham again. Now, rumors are beginning to swirl again recently. Recent reports indicate that Rocksteady has been actually hiring developers for a new project built using Unreal Engine 5, sparking, lots of speculation that the studio could be preparing to return to the world of Batman. And while no official announcement's been made, the possibilities alone has, ignited excitement throughout the gaming community almost like never before. And if Rocksteady truly is actually working on a new Batman game, it could mark the beginning of a new era. The timing certainly feels right. I mean, the Arkham series ended nearly a decade ago, yet its influence remains everywhere. Modern action games still borrow from its combat system, stealth mechanics, environmental storytelling. The idea of revisiting Gotham with today's technology opens the doors to possibilities that simply weren't achievable back when Arkham Knight released in 2015. I mean, for starters, Unreal Engine 5 offers an entirely new level of graphical fidelity. Gotham City could be rendered with some staggering detail. Rain-soaked streets reflecting neon lights, towering skyscrapers disappearing into low-hanging clouds, narrow alleyways illuminated only by flickering street lamps. The city could feel denser, darker, and more atmospheric than ever before. But we think the real opportunity actually lies in the world design. See, previous Arkham games gave players a version of Gotham that was impressive for its time, but still limited in scale. A modern game could present a much larger, perhaps even a fully connected Gotham with multiple districts, each one controlled by different criminal factions. Like, imagine a player gliding from the Gothic architecture of old Gotham to the industrial chaos of the docks, then into the neon-lit streets of the fictional district. Each area could have its own identity, its own crimes to solve, and its own villains pulling the strings behind the scenes. And speaking of villains, that's actually where the narrative possibilities become sort of endless. See, the Arkham series featured many of Batman's most iconic enemies, but there are still almost countless from the comics who have yet to receive the spotlight they really deserve in a major video game. Like, a new Batman title could introduce entirely new threats to Gotham, perhaps even focusing on villains who challenge Batman in different ways. Some enemies test his physical strengths, others challenge his intelligence or his moral code. And a modern Batman story could lean more heavily into the detective side of the character, something fans have been actually asking for since the early Arkham games. Where instead of simply reacting to crime, Batman could actively investigate it. Players might analyze crime scenes a lot longer, following clues across the city, uncover conspiracies that stretch deep into Gotham's political and criminal underworld. This approach would fit perfectly with Rocksteady's storytelling. The studio has always excelled at building layered narratives where seemingly unrelated events slowly connect into some larger mystery. Combat, of course, also could remain a key part of the experience, which we're not really gonna get into. Another intriguing possibility is the role of Batman's allies. You see, the Arkham series occasionally allowed players to control characters like Catwoman, Robin, Nightwing, but those sections were relatively brief. A new Batman game could expand this specific idea significantly, allowing players to switch between members of the Bat family during certain missions. In fact, Batman stories can range from gritty detective noir games to high-stakes superhero spectacle. The Arkham series struck a balance between those extremes, but a new entry might lean even further into the darker side of the Gotham. Recent reinterpretations of the character in the film and television have actually emphasized Batman's role as a symbol of fear within the criminal underworld. A game that embraces that idea could make Gotham feel more oppressive, mysterious, and more dangerous than ever. The narrative itself might explore themes that go beyond simple hero versus villain conflicts. Should Batman always follow the rules, or are there situations where bending them becomes necessary? In fact, Rocksteady has shown in the past that it understands the psychological complexity of Batman as a character. If the studio truly is returning to the franchise, it's likely that the story will explore the emotional weight of being Gotham's protector. Perhaps even focusing on villains who challenge Batman in different ways. Some enemies test his physical strengths, others challenge his intelligence or his moral code. And a modern Batman story could lean more heavily into the detective side of the character, something fans have been actually asking for since the early Arkham games. Where instead of simply reacting to crime, Batman could actively investigate it. Players might analyze crime scenes a lot longer, following clues across the city, uncover conspiracies that stretch deep into Gotham's political and criminal underworld. Of course, it's important to remember, as always, that none of this has been officially confirmed. Reports about Rocksteady hiring for a new Unreal Engine 5 project could very well lead to many different types of games. If that happens, given the studio's history with the Batman franchise, it's pretty difficult not to imagine the Dark Knight returning to center stage. If that happens, the result could be one of the most exciting superhero games of the current generation, no doubt, because the Batman series proved something important, that Batman doesn't just work in video games, he thrives in them. Recent reports indicate that Rocksteady has been actually hiring developers for a new project built using Unreal Engine 5, sparking, lots of speculation that the studio could be preparing to return to the world of Batman. And while no official announcement's been made, the possibilities alone has, ignited excitement throughout the gaming community almost like never before. And if Rocksteady truly is actually working on a new Batman game, it could mark the beginning of a new era. And if Gotham City rises again, with the power of modern technology and Rocksteady's design expertise, the next Batman game might not just revisit the past, it might actually redefine the future of superhero games all over again.